what the 722 mix is, 7 ounces of degreaser and 22 ounces of milk. It's one of the best cleaners. Scroll through Instagram, everybody cars look beautiful. Everybody's making all this money. Like it's unbelievable. Get out and read in the real world, and you start
Yes.
to realize, like, oh, okay, a lot of this is lies. It is a learning curve. You can spend $1,500 on a car, and that car is no good. You bought a bad car. Like, it's a community that buys certain cars, like Volkswagen. It's a community that only buy Volvo. Like, they're waiting on Facebook all night and day for a Volvo to pop up because they're gonna get it and then send it to New Mexico. You can list the car and be like, engine don't work. You're gonna have 1,000 people that want to come get it because they probably gonna get the car, either fix it, resell it, take it to the junkyard. People that got all types of stuff going on.
So 7 years ago, I just looked it up. You told all my audience about the 722 mix. So before we get into what you've been doing lately, I still, even to this day, get a lot of questions about what I like to call the June Jones 722 mix. So can you let everyone know what the 722 mix is?
Yeah, man. So for the people that do not know what the 722 mix is, it is 7 ounces of degreaser and 22 ounces of milk, which is, dressing, whatever y'all call it in your area or whatever. And you mix that together, but it works.
And no water, right? No water.
No water. Yeah.
Got it.
Just 22 ounces of milk and 7 ounces of degreaser straight, if you can. And it's one of the best cleaners there is. And shout out to Manny, because Manny is the originator of it. You know what I'm saying? And we just kind of, that's my guy, and we just took it to the next level.
So 7 years ago, we talked about, being a head detailer at a dealership. Then I think after that, you even started the dealership detailing podcast.
Yeah.
I forgot to check to see if you're still doing it. But right before we started recording, you said that you kind of have taken a step back from detailing. So kind of catch us up on the past 7 years and what's been going on in your world.
Yeah. So shout out to you though, Jimbo, because honestly, without you, none of this even would have came about. You know what I mean? We helped a lot of lives out there on the Dealership Detailing Podcast. Shout out to, Detailers United Radio. Shout out to Rome the Polisher. And as far as the podcast is still around. We haven't dropped the episode in over a year, quite a while. Can't really just say any reasonings why, you know what I mean?
It's hard to keep it going, man. Like, you know what I mean?
We were going for 7 years straight. We didn't skip a week.
Wow.
You know what I mean? Like 7 years straight. And you could go to Apple, your Apple Podcast, and just type in Detailers United Radio or Dealership Detailing Podcast, and that'll pull up or whatever. But so over the last couple of years, I just kind of took a step back a little bit. I don't retail detail as much as I did. I feel like I beat the game of auto detailing, especially in my area. And but like if my accounts still call, like a police account, some of my doctors, phone. One thing about detailing, guys, your phone never stop ringing. People will never stop reaching out. I curve a lot of different people. I curve customers all week long, every day. So when the thing is, I want to detail when I want to detail. I got tired of detailing because I have to detail, because I have to make money. I haven't been that inspired because I feel like the type of work that I do, I got to be inspired. You know what I mean? And I just, lost a little inspiration just as far as the retail side. Now, do I love detailing still? Most definitely. But to flip all that, I merged and got my dealer's license.
Yes, man, I love this. So this is a conversation that I have with a guy that I've been trying to get on the podcast that does a lot of stuff in LA and Hollywood for a lot of celebrities and a lot of business managers, but he started out detailing. And I want to hear the story because it's been a topic of conversation that I've been having with him. And he's been saying, use detailing, but you got to have a next level plan, right? So just use detailing to get like your foot in the door to these people and then leverage those connections, leverage those relationships to do other things. Because let's be honest, like detailing as a side hustle or as a starting place is really where it shines. I know there's the outliers that have big shops and stuff like that, but
Yeah.
for the vast majority of people that I talk to, it's a one-man band or a couple guys working for you. And so finding out what the next level is for a lot of guys, it's PPF or window tint or whatever. But tell us about, like, and I, by the way, I love what you said. Like, you got to be inspired to do it. I think that's,
man.
I think that's,
to do high quality work. If and everybody, like, my people know who I am, especially, the people that rock with me. Shout out to Rome, the polisher. And you could go to my Facebook page, June Jones. You can see the high quality work. My city love me, you know what I mean, for the work. I'm still very thought after out here, but it just had to come to a point to where, you mobile detailing, and mobile detailing has its ups and downs, rather people. And that was mostly what the podcast, me and Rome talk about, is getting to the next level and just trying to find what you're going to do to get to the next level. And so my next level, I was just thinking, and I ended up getting my dealer's license. So I go to the dealer only auction, and I go buy cars. What's so crazy is because, I come from the dealerships. I see everybody there. Everybody already know me. I know them. All the mobile detailing I did in the city, all the small mom and pop stores I done did deals with and went and cleaned all their cars. Now I get to see them there, And
that's so cool.
I'm gonna be honest, they wasn't happy to see
I
me.
bet.
They was not happy to see
I'm
me.
sure they weren't like, "Hey, June, good to see you
No,
here."
no,
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 they want
no,
to pay you your
no.
$15 an hour to clean
Oh
the
yeah,
car,
oh
right?
yeah. They want you to, that's one thing, they want to keep detailers, they want to keep you down. They want to keep you low. They don't want to see you rise. They don't want to see you rise.
Was it hard to get your dealer license? I'm sure it's probably different in every state, but was that a difficult thing to do? Did you have to take a test? Like, what was the process for that?
I'm gonna be honest with you, it was very hard. And
Okay.
and being that, and being that all the relationships that I had with small mom and pops, I'm talking 30 below, I'm out there cleaning dealer cars for y'all, And then when it comes to me wanting to figure some other things out for myself, and I approach y'all and y'all don't have no information for me. Everybody froze up. I lost a lot of relationships getting my dealer's license, as far as dealing with mom and pop stores and other dealers, you know. So yes, it was very difficult because
That's so disappointing, because you, even from our first podcast together, you were more than willing to share all your secrets.
yeah,
Right. And I think I did listen. I don't consume a lot of detailing content, so I apologize. But I did listen to your podcast in the early days.
yeah,
And you really were just, sharing all your tips and tricks, right? Like, I can't tell you how many people have tried to discredit the 722 method
yeah,
and then gone and tried it and been like, I don't know why that works, but
yeah,
damn it, it works.
yeah.
So that's disappointing that you're so willing to, even this podcast right now, you're so willing to share your story, your information, and then to not have that come back to you from the people that you were already servicing
Service.
is really discouraging.
See, and another thing me and Ron used to talk about, a lot is dealing with customers. You give out y'all skipping parties, y'all skipping family events for so-called money and to go detail. But then on the flip side of that, when you really need these customers, they're nowhere to be found. When my rig came up missing, I had a whole rig come up missing in this aftermath of just detailing in general. And that when that happened, that really woke me up, and it made me realize this is really just business. I know as mobile detailers, we go and try to build these relationships with these customers, and they call you. You'll skip Johnny to go get the other guy, but then the other guys are really the one he gonna play you when Johnny really your good friend, So
Right,
just
right.
really understanding and going through the rabbit hole of mobile detailing or detailing in general to come to realize all that, and so it was very frustrating to find out, a lot of great people that I did made a lot of money, like a lot of money off these people, thousands, and for y'all to not even have no information for me.
Like, give me a website, right? Like, give me, like, hey, you got to give me the loose process of, like, hey, you got to take this test and
Yeah.
do that. Like, which, yeah, it's just really,
So
that's really crappy.
ultimately, I end up what end up happening is I end up spending way more money to get started than I needed to. I had to
Mhm,
all the one thing. It's just crazy that I get to see the other side of cars.
mhm.
You know, because I come from the dealerships. You know, and me and Rome is we will. You know, we used to all, and I'm sure all the mobile detailers, y'all wonder why like mom and pop stores don't want to pay more money for details and stuff like that. I'm starting to really understand the back end of cars.
Mhm,
Because having your dealer's license is not just go buy a car and flip it. It's way more metrics to it. You know, so
mhm.
I do understand as a small dealer at this moment of what the other mom and pop dealers feel when I approach them like, hey, get your car cleaner. Man, get this ceramic coat and just try to get the car to look the best way that it can. But come to find out, guys, it really ain't worth it. Because then you got 1,000 people that want the car and they're gonna try to lowball you. You know what I mean? So you really they don't care about that. Like customers ain't really they want a clean, they want a nice clean car, but at the same time, they don't care about none of that.
Which is why things like the 722 method are so important, right?
Yes,
Because
yes.
as the detailer, excuse me, but you have to, I think that is such a good point that you just made too, of like, as the detailer, you have to realize who your customer is in that moment and then what they're looking for, because ultimately that dealership's just trying to sell the car,
They're just trying to
right?
sell the car. Yeah.
Can you like on new cars, when they try, what the new car dealers try to do, like they upsell the protection package and it's like already installed and it's just another line item. Um, do do used car dealers try to do that too? Like could they try to pass on that cost um uh,
Like,
on the used car too, or is that just another thing that customers will then try to negotiate off?
no, they could they can add that on there.
Okay.
The one thing a used dealer could do whatever they want to do. They
Okay.
can really do whatever they wanna do, and honestly, they get pretty good deals on them cars, you know,
Okay.
just to see what the actual market is of what cars is going for. Dealers really get a pretty good deal, you know, more than what people probably would think, you know, times. I mean, the auction is up and down, it's like a roller coaster, just as far as price-wise, but they get it they put that on there. They can add that into the car.
So, what is, I guess to kind of go back before we go forward, why did you decide that being a dealer might be the best way to go? So, I assume you're kind of getting burnout on detailing, and or not getting burnout, just looking for the next level. And how
Yeah,
did you decide on that?
yeah, you know, I'm not gonna lie. I mean, I tried. You know, just sitting up and just really trying to think. You know, you go into these customers' house day in, day out. You know, and this is for my people. This is for my mobile detailers because I know some diehard mobile detailers out there. Y'all gotta understand. I came from the dealership, and when I
Mhm.
jumped into mobile detailing, me and Ron, we realized that it was a lie. A lot of things on the internet will have you thinking that it's real when it comes to mobile detailing, but um it was really a lie. So after you then left your other career path, did this, did that, jumped into mobile detailing to find out it was a lie. And not only was it a lie, I beat the game of mobile detailing. I did
What
everything.
was a lie about it, or what was, when you say it was a lie? What was that kind of like revelation for you?
Just you know, with the shenanigans, you go online, everything, you scroll through Instagram, everybody cars look beautiful,
Mhm.
everybody's making all this money, all this, all, like it's unbelievable. You know
Right.
what I mean?
I made $2,500 today detailing cars, and it's
Yeah,
like
yeah,
first car wash 750, and it's like, wait, what?
yeah.
And
It's
who's
like
paying you $700 to wash their car?
exactly, and then
Okay, got
you
it.
get out and read in the real world, and you start to
Yes.
realize like, oh, okay, a lot of this is lies. A lot of it's, you know,
Okay.
especially if you want to do high quality work like we do. A
Right.
lot of it's lies, you know. And I didn't did I and I know everybody in my city, the most prestigious doctors. You know,
Mhm.
I got police accounts. You know, I mean, everybody know my name when it comes to this game in my
Mhm.
city, and
Mhm.
in my area, and so you know, I just started to realize, and then it's like, okay, you know, a lot of people's giving their whole life to this game. And when COVID came, it switched everything. It sped detailing up. It pushed a lot of people in it that, you know, the market just started to drop the value of it.
Mhm.
It's from what I see, you know, as far as the business standpoint. I mean, it's still a lot of people going, and shout out to you. But I started to see that.
But even me, you know, the whole genesis of starting this podcast in 2014 was the fact that I saw that for what it was.
Oh, you seen that early.
Mobile detailing is a hard game, man. And there
Yeah,
is a big difference between the people, even back then, the people that are talking about it online and then the reality of actually mobile detailing. And not only is it hard when you're in it, but
yeah,
also if you're sick, if the weather's bad,
weather's bad.
if you're not working, you're not making money. And that was my big epiphany of, if I'm not working, I'm not making money. And that doesn't work when you have a family and you're trying to grow and you're trying to get to the next level, right?
Yeah.
And so just the whole idea behind even starting this podcast way back then was I need another angle, right? I need another way to make money. I need another thing to do. Now, as you saw, podcasting about detailing is not the avenue.
Nah, it's, I think, and even come with the podcast, I think a lot of revelations is on there. I mean, y'all can go to Apple. I mean, it's a great, we done helped a lot of lives all over the world. We just, and when I say helped a lot of lives, I'm saying as far as getting people to pay attention to themselves.
Yes.
Stop missing them birthday parties.
Yes.
Stop missing them events for so-called money and detailing, because you're only as good as your last car. You know what I mean? You're only as good as your last car, and they don't need you. And customers, they only want you when they want you. When you need them, they're not there. Just coming to realize a lot of things. And then, like, what I was gonna say is, mobile detailing can bring PTSD. A lot of people is living their whole life through the detailing lens. Some people can't afford 3, 4 cars. Some people riding around every day with a water tank behind them just to keep detailing, because this is how they, pay the bills and everything. What about those people that's sacrificing each and every day, mobile detailing and auto detailing for their family? But, what about those people? And that's what the podcast really, was just really help people to this day. I mean, it's still a lot of great game on there for people that's dealing with certain
I
things
mean,
like that,
you're 100%
Yeah,
speaking the truth, man. And it's a truth that a lot of people don't want to talk about.
they don't, and that's what we was touching on.
Yep, and they want to ignore it, and they want to. I mean, yeah, and I think one thing that I realized, that not to have a pity party over the podcast not being a revenue generator, because similar to what you're doing in the dealership and just looking for the next angle, for me, it was that the podcast gave access and leverage, right? And so it was, okay, now that I can I have a little bit of leverage, or I have better relationships, what can I do with those relationships, right? So just to clear that air, and stuff like having my own product right now is like, okay, well, I leverage relationships that I met through people because of the podcast, right? So sometimes it's, not a direct income source, but you got to kind of wiggle through it, but you settled on dealership. So, so what does that look like, when you're first getting started? Do you need do you start with like the crappiest cars because they're the cheapest and you're just trying to like flip them real quick to get some money? Do you need to start with a bankroll of money? Like, what does that look like?
That's a good question. And that was the hard part of you would think that buying, $7,000 cars or $6,000 cars is technically the answer, but it's really not, because a lot of people need a bank loan for that $6,000 to $7,000 car. So what I noticed is most people on the internet, they got 2,500, 3,000. A person got like 3,500 for a car, So when it comes to the dealer auction, me personally, I done bought $5,000 cars, I done bought $6,000 cars, and that wasn't it. That wasn't the answer. So, it's just about trying to get a good car at a good price that you're comfortable with in your area. And then trying to, because whatever you get the car for, you're gonna make money. Like, it ain't no way you going, unless you got too much in it as far as the auction.
So your kind of sweet spot is because then, that makes sense. Then you don't have to finance the people. You drop all the barriers for people and excuses for them to not buy the car that you have. Right. So you deal in that. Okay. Got it.
And then, I'll say, 1,500, you can, 1,500 to 2,200, 2,500 and below.
Give us an example of a 50, because I know nothing about being a dealer, auctions, nothing like that, right?
Yeah.
But when I think of a $2,500 car or a $1,500 car, I think of something that probably doesn't run. But can you give us an example of
I'll give you an example.
of a car?
A 2014 Chevy Cruze.
Okay.
I think I won the bid at like $950.
Whoa.
I got it sent to me. It was coming from Arkansas. I think I was all in it about like 1,200 or
Okay.
so. No check engine lights or anything. Had a little high mileage on it, like 170 on the mileage or
Okay.
whatever, but I only had like 1,200 in it, you know?
And someone at that price range is going to be less sensitive to, they understand what they're going after too, right?
Yeah,
Like
most definitely.
someone looking for a $2,500 car is not going to be like, oh, but it's got
Yeah,
170,000
no,
miles on it,
people
right?
don't care about that.
Yeah,
Yeah, they don't care about that. People don't care
got it.
about that.
So so then you receive that car, and then what is the condition? Let's use that car for an example. What is the condition of that car when it gets dropped off to you? Are you looking at it like, oh shoot, this is kind of rough? Or obviously you probably see dollar signs, right? So that probably
Yeah.
helps to cover up some stuff. But are you looking at, especially because you have a detailer's eye,
Mhm.
so are you looking at it like, man, this thing needs a detail, I got to do this, I got to do that? Or like what is your first reaction when you see that car?
Well, one thing about the dealer auctions, they do like I even just say the auction that I actually got it from is ACV auto auction and dealers only. But on their auction, you can see pictures. You can even hear the car start. You can see all angles. They take like several pictures. So I already know what I was getting into.
Okay.
No body damage, car clean. This was a trade-in. So, and that's another thing, like,
Sounds like a
you know,
unicorn.
yeah, like so it's a lot of little things like that, like only buy from bigger dealerships. You know, that's where I came from. So only buy trade-ins because most people trading in cars at the
Got
big
it.
dealership, they've been driving it because that's their car, you know?
So at the dealer auction, you can see where that car is coming from.
Yes.
Oh,
And
okay.
never buy a car from small dealerships. Never.
Okay.
Only buy from big dealerships, Chevy, BMW, Lexus, you know, Dodge, um, you know, Honda, Hyundai, like only big dealerships, only trade-ins. That's what you want.
Got it, because 'cause they're
Yeah,
getting the trade-ins from the people that are
yeah,
moving into a new car.
yeah.
Okay,
Mm.
got it.
So
Gosh, what's the big dealership I can't think of right now? They're yellow and blue, CarMax? Is
yeah,
CarMax a good place to buy from?
yeah.
Okay,
CarMax, Carvana,
okay,
um, all banks, Chase Bank, all repos, Chase
okay.
repos, Chase banks.
Is a repo better than a trade-in car because that person maybe didn't even wanna get rid of their car?
Yeah, because they newer cars, like,
Okay,
they're all the new cars, and I mean, everything's there from when I go to Dallas, like, sometimes I'll go to Manheim in
uh-huh,
Dallas. I mean, they got Lamborghini sitting out there. I mean, it's nothing to walk up and open it and start it, to drive it,
mhm.
McLarens, Ferraris,
Do you
any car.
prefer going in person or do you like online auctions?
Good question. What I like to do is I'll go and, the reason I like ACV auction because it is an online only auction, and it's
Mhm.
worldwide. You could buy in all 50 states, but,
Okay.
like America's Auto Auction should be in like every state. Everybody pretty much got an America's Auto Auction, dealers only. And
Are dealer licenses, sorry to cut you off. Are
yeah,
dealer light but that made me think of a question. Do dealer licenses only work in the state that you get the license?
uh,
Or like how does that, can you, if you have a license, say in Texas, can you buy cars from any of the states or
yes,
okay, got
yeah,
it.
I can buy cars from any of the states.
Okay.
So if you wanted to buy a car, you'd be like, hey man, I want to buy a car from the auction. We could team up. I could, I could let you see what's going on.
Okay.
You can even go and see, where I could get you in your area. And
Got it.
yeah, so you can buy in all 50 states, all over, like any auction in any dealer only auction.
Okay. So you buy this car, you know what you're in for, you get it. Um, do you detail it? Do you have it detailed? Do you already know that it doesn't need to be detailed?
Yeah, I detail. But I ain't gonna lie, that is like, we detail well. So that do be a selling point, because they be like, man, the car's so clean. And I mean, I detail. So that is a winning point for us detailers. And I think that mostly I also got into it because I know that, I got the glow mix. 722 is one mix, but the glow cars just be glowed out, beautiful looking.
What's the glow mix?
Well, I can't give that mix out. It was an
Okay.
ebook that came out. I was like, that's something whole. Nah, the glow mix is something. If y'all go to my June Jones on Facebook page, and you could just see, or go to Jones Extreme Auto Detail on Instagram, you'll see nothing but just cars looking mirror finished, like the color solid and just mirror finish. Get that looking like 5 minutes, 6 minutes. So we done mastered all the crafts and arts when it comes to auto detailing, hands down. So I was just always thinking like, okay, I keep doing all this great, beautiful work for these customers. Like, what else can I do with this? I still love detailing. I'm not necessarily burnt out. I'm tired of detailing for customers.
I would say business would be so much better without the customer.
Yeah. Like,
Right?
it was even to the point to where, like, I'd rather clean a dealership car than a customer car. I don't know why I feel like that.
Okay.
I'd rather clean a lot of cars for the dealership than versus just car for a customer. Like, I'm over that. Like, we did that for so long, because people gotta understand, like, you sacrifice so much mobile detailing. I don't think people really understand that. You got a uniform on every single day. Like, you're detailing. When I'm talking about for the people going hard, you're going Monday through Sunday, every single day. You riding, all you hearing is the water swishing, swish, swish, swish. Like, I'm tired of riding around with a water tank behind my head for 7 years straight. Like, when is enough enough? You know? Like, so I'm over it, man. I love detailing, I'ma always love it. But so my whole thing was detail the cars for yourself. How can I do this work for myself? So that was my main thoughts.
Okay.
It wasn't necessarily like go get a dealership and be a big dealer. No. How can I do this same work and make good money detailing for myself? And a dealer's license was the only thing that I can really find that made sense.
Totally makes sense.
To just buy the cars and clean them myself and sell them. It's been working. I mean, I've been selling. Might buy 2 at a time, 3 at a time. I mean, it's been working. It's been working.
And then how are you selling? Like, how are you selling these cars? And then I'm assuming they sell quick too. So one thing, my brother-in-law worked at a big car dealership as just a car salesman, right? And one thing he was trying to do is he would buy the trade. Like, if a customer came in, to kind of to your point, like with a trade, he would try to buy the trade from them, like on the side. He no longer works at the dealership, I think, because of this. But anyway, he would buy the trade from the customer instead of them trading it into the dealer, and then he would just flip it on the side, right? And he loved it because he was dealing right in the same price point you are. You pay $900 for it. Maybe you sell it for $1,900. It's a quick $1,000. He had it like over the weekend, right? And I think he was doing like Facebook Marketplace to sell them, or Craigslist.
I'm Facebook Marketplace with it. I mean, so many people. I mean, you'll put a car up, you'll have over 5,000 impressions, and well over a couple of hundred people want to see it
without running ads.
No ads. This is just all Facebook. Yeah. And one thing I learned about selling cars is, whether the car is raggedy, you can say, oh, nobody's gonna want that, or the check engine light is on. One thing I will tell y'all, people do not care. When you're Ubering to work every day and you got to pay that Uber fee every single day, when people walking ain't got no way to take kids to school, and you ain't got no way to work, after a while you just need a car. A lot of people just need a car. Now, all the cars I sell, I try to buy them because I'm not a mechanic, but I am mechanically inclined. So I try to buy cars with no check engine lights. So what's the thing at the dealer auction? It's a red light, green light, or yellow light. A green light is what most of your bigger dealerships cars they buy. Like your Chevys, they go to the auction and buy green light cars so they can sell them to y'all and get a loan on them. The bank ain't gonna give you no loan on no car with high mileage. So all their cars be the newer cars and stuff that they buy.
Because they can certify them or whatever.
Yeah, it got to be certified and stuff. So a red light car can have can't have a certain amount of miles. I think to be able to be a green light, I think it's like 100 and I want to say like it might be like 130 and down, like 125 and down on the miles. Anything up is a green light. So a red light is like a sweet spot between that 125 and up. I mean, and it's certain little criteria, but the difference is if you get a green light, if you buy a green light car, you got 30 days to get it arbitraged. And what that means is if anything happened to it, transmission, anything break, leak, anything, that dealer have to pay you to get that car fixed, or you can get a car back.
Okay.
See, that's the only way you can reverse the deal. If you buy a red light car, that's as is. So whatever happens, happens. So if you ride down the street and the transmission lock up, it's on you. Now, can you test drive these cars at the dealer auction? Yes. Can you start them? Yes. You could bring your check engine code reader, all that. Like, be prepared. You could drive them. They got a track out there. You can start and drive any car. Lambos, Ferraris, whatever's out there. The newest of the newest, 2020, whatever. Mercedes. It's all out there. Walk around, see the cars you want. But not to cut you off, I want to double back.
Yeah.
You said, what do I like? The online auction or going out there. I do like going out there, but then on the bidding day, I'll watch it online so I can run all the lanes at the same time. Because they might sell 1,000 cars at one auction at a time. All these cars are running simultaneously. So I like to go out there and touch as many as I can, see the ones I want to bid on, start them, see what they look like, see if they leaking anything, drive them, and then I'll go home, get on the computer right before the auction start, and I can see all the lanes at once. So I'm watching 1,000 cars running at one time, but I could bid on 5, 6 cars at the same time.
So do they only have the auction on a certain day? Like, is it every Tuesday this auction
every
rolls?
Tuesday,
Okay, got it.
every Wednesday, like
Okay.
bigger auctions, Manheim, like Odessa auction. Odessa is every Friday, Manheim is every Thursday, America's Auto Auction in Texas, and like all over Houston, mostly like Tuesdays, every Tuesdays and Wednesdays. So down here it's every Wednesday and Friday.
Got
And
it. So then is that auction open? So will you try to get as close to the auction day as possible so that there's as many cars there as possible for you to go touch and see and check out?
I mean, they're there now. Like it's an ongoing thing. You
Always
can
a lot.
wait. You can. Sometimes I'll go right before the auction start, a couple hours before. Go check out as many cars as I can. But like, if I wanted to get up and go right now to the auction and go look at the cars that's going to run through, tomorrow I can.
Got it. Okay.
Yeah.
It's so interesting. And then you're selling these on Facebook Marketplace or whatever. Have you had any bad experiences of like you sold a car and then the customer, like, do you use a burner phone? Like, I think of all the weird.
I know. Kind of like the detailing, huh? Like,
Yeah.
when you do a ceramic or something, you be like, man, should I have a burnout number? Because I don't want to call on my phone. That's one thing about detailing. I used to hate doing ceramic colors because I don't want you calling my phone. I don't want you calling my phone. Please don't call my phone. I hit you like 1 or 2 times, but that's why I do such high quality work. Nobody can say nothing about nothing I done did. My phone nobody called my phone back. None of my ceramic people call my phone trying to get me to do more work for them. Like, they don't call my phone. But as far as like the cars, no customers. Because to be honest, I'll get the car and I'll drive it.
Right.
I get it, and I got dealer plates and everything. So I ride it around town, clean it, drive it for a week or 2, because you got to learn the title. The title gonna take about like a week or something to come in. And I'll drive it. And if something happens within that time, one thing I can just say, just be upfront with them. I don't lie to none of them. If something wrong with it, I'll tell you. It's the car's gonna sell regardless. So it's no point of lying. If the check engine light on, I'll just be honest with you. Like, hey, check engine light on for this code. Give them the code and everything.
I was watching a podcast with the guy from Vin Wiki, and he said that exact same thing because he deals in like exotic rental cars, or at least did, or whatever. And so he's buying and selling a lot of cars too. But he said that exact same thing. He goes, if you just tell people what is wrong with the car, they are so much more forgiving, and like they just feel, which, by the way, should be like an ongoing moral compass for everyone in life. Just be honest. right? Imagine that. Something as simple as just telling the truth will get you further, right? But this detailing industry is just full of people that don't want to tell the truth, right? For whatever reason. But yeah, if you just tell people the truth, hey, the check engine light's on and it needs, I'm not very mechanical, so I don't know.
Yeah,
it needs blinker fluid, right?
Yeah.
At least they would be like, okay, cool, it needs blinker fluid, right? And they can move on with their day.
And one thing I noticed, like if you buy a bad car from the dealer auction, or you buy a car and the transmission's locked up, or you buy a car, the car, you might, worst case scenario, you can break even, or even worse case, you might have to eat, the auction fee, because it is a fee on every car that you buy. It depends
based on the price of the car. Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
It might be like $300. So if you buy a car for $1,000, you might be out the door 1,200 or something like that.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? So you won the bid at 1,000, but the auction fee is like 200, 295, or it depends. So if you bought a car for 6,000, you might looking at a $500 auction fee.
So it sounds like the next step is to own the auction. Jeez.
Man, yeah.
Right?
Oh, they make their money off the rip. That's why you got to be careful on not having too much money in the car, because the streets is what determine what the car's worth. So it's just a lot of little things that only money can, like, it's a lot of things a dealer could tell you, but this is stuff they weren't gonna tell me. This my dealer buddy, so I had to find out all this. I don't know nobody that own a dealership. I'm a detailer.
Right. How do you does the I've seen some of these dealer videos on YouTube or TikTok and stuff, and they talk about like the retail value of the car, and I think there's like an app or something that can
Manheim Market, and that's being honest, like and that's just real. Any auction, each auction, it's called a Manheim market value, and that's what dealers is buying cars. So when you take your car to the dealership and they're like, "Oh, we'll give you $200 for it," it's because the auction is saying that's all it's gonna bring them. So it'll bring them a little bit more than 200. So they want to get it for 200 so they can make 600, 700 to 1,000 to 2,000 at the auction, selling it to us as a trade-in.
Got it.
Selling it to other dealers. So, and then the dealer get it and it's upsell. But I'm gonna be honest, guys, these dealers is upcharging on, like, in y'all areas. I mean, they killing it, man. 2, 3, 4 grand upcharge. I watch people down here buy buckets from the dealer auction, and it'll be on marketplace for, I'm like, they didn't even clean it. They didn't touch it. They didn't clean it. They didn't fix nothing. And they got a 4 grand upcharge on it. Stuff like that. Yeah, it's unbelievable. It's a real cutthroat game, but I think auto detailing cutthroat too. Car business in general is cutthroat. Anything to do with cars, mechanical work, detailing work, selling cars,
all shady.
It's all shady.
It's all shady.
It's all shady.
You just got to know the game. But but you have an upper hand if you know that, right? If you know that someone's trying to cut your throat, then you at least know how to play the game, right? It's not too dissimilar to a customer buying a $1,500 car with a check engine light on and 300,000 miles. At least they know what they're in for.
Yeah, they know what they're in for.
Right.
As long as they're blow code, they're gonna love you.
Right. So if you feel comfortable answering this question, and you don't have to, but do you remember your biggest win so far? Like, you got a car for X and you sold it for Y, and what that car was? And you don't have to share. You totally don't have to. You could.
Well, not like that. The best, one of the best deals I probably got is the 2014 that 2014 Chevy Crew. I won't say best deal, but I was very little in that. But I didn't have cars I might be like 1,500 and still make 1,200 off of it, 1,300 off of it, even 1,400 off of it. But I told y'all it's a sweet spot, because I noticed like a lot of people got 3,000 to 3,500. So what I purposely buy cars that I can only list upwards to 3,300 to 3,500.
Okay.
You see, I don't want to list a car for 5 grand. I don't want that, because you're gonna have a hard time getting 5. If I can sell you a car at 3,300, they sell like hotcakes.
That's a massive nugget.
And only sell it. That's your price point, 3,300 tops.
That's a massive nugget, and I think translates from all areas of life. You have to know your market.
Yeah.
you have to know the people that you're trying to sell to, right?
Yeah.
Because that also helps you playing in that budget too, because you want to, I would assume you want to buy as many cars as possible.
Yeah, I want to buy as many cars. And I done bought a 2020. I had a 2020 Chevy Malibu. I bought it from Ally. It was a repo. And I still buy a lot of repos. Them repos, you get them cheap.
Seems like that would be the best
Yeah,
option.
I buy repos. I buy a lot of repos and trade-ins. But and I had that car listed for like $8,000, and it's just you get people, but let me see if I can get a loan. It was just like, I don't want to wait for no loan. Then you're going to have to deal with the bank. I just want my I want my money back.
Yep.
Like, yeah, and I want the tops that I'm going to get off of it. So when I seen that, I said, because I thought buying better, newer cars was the answer, and that wasn't the answer. It was actually a bad idea. Unless you're a big dealership and you can walk them into your establishment and get them to get financing, and you help them get finance like your big Chevys and stuff like that, then I don't think it's worth it.
So how many cars do you, because I'm assuming you just do this kind of out of your house or whatever, right?
Yeah.
So how many cars, which I think is like so great. You're doing your own thing, making your own hours, meeting these people whenever you need to, making money, making cash, right?
Yeah.
How many cars, like what's your sweet spot of how many cars you like to have at a time?
Just at a time, about 2.
Okay.
About 2. And I just deal with 2 at a time and just try to, because I gotta clean both of them, and some of them be trading trashed out. I mean, people don't, and then to try to, to do what we want to do, I want to buff it, I want to get it to look good, but I ain't gonna lie, when I get them to good look, I mean, they don't last. When I take
that's a good problem though, right?
Yeah, they're so clean. I know. And they just sell, like, so as a detailer, guys, I honestly feel like, you trying to use your talents, whether that's buffing, you do great interior work or whatever, try to find something else to where you can utilize that, but still capitalize on it. Because like you said, like, we're all only getting older, detailing is a hard game. It really, really is. And, just try to find you something that's going to work with what you got going on and try to eventually merge. You can keep detailing, but like you said, what's next? I know that's a big question for all of us detailing, like, what is next in detailing after you done did it all, after you done cleaned all the cars that you want, that made so-called all of them. And I done made great money mobile detailing, amazing money, and people might be like, well, why don't you keep mobile detailing? I'm just not inspired. Like this is how I feel, like when, like, if I do go do a detail and I'm not inspired, I'm not gonna do a good job. I'm not. The car's gonna not look great. I'm just not. That's me. I'm an inspired detailer, because I came from the dealership. It was all about the quality of work that you can do. It wasn't never about the money. The money was always gonna come. And then when you get in mobile detailing, it becomes about the money. You can find yourself, the rent due, or this bill, I gotta go out here and clean this car for the light bill. I'm not doing that. I'm not living my life like that. No.
It comes back to I re-interviewed again, and I've known him for a long time, Claude Harris. And when I first had him on the podcast, he was, kind of hesitant to talk about it, but he was detailing part-time because he had a full-time job.
Yeah.
And one thing we talked about is I actually thought that was a great thing.
Brilliant,
because
it really is.
to all the, like, if you went down the list of everything you hated about mobile detailing, those were all the things he didn't have to deal with because he wasn't fully reliant on the money. Right. And desperation does weird things to people. And when you're desperate for the money, I think that's why part of the reason. Yeah, go ahead.
I think what it is what people don't come to realize is you're chasing a tail, guys, in mobile in detailing in general, that you're never going to catch. Y'all chasing that money that you're never going to catch. It's just going to always keep. Trust me. Me and Ron, I didn't detail till I can't detail no more, till I turned blue. 30-degree weather, Amazon accounts, like, I done did it all. A person can't come to me and be like, I done did it all when it comes to detailing. Boat accounts, whatever. Dealing with the mayor, I just did, and I'm still detailing. I just did a mayor's car, like she called me like a month ago. I had to cover on this last one. I done did it for her, but I'm like, because, I'm curbing people at this point.
Right.
So I understand. And it's nothing against anything. It's not nothing against.
No, but you'd rather detail for yourself, right?
Yeah,
because
like,
it's like, why am I going to go do that car for 150 or 200 bucks
Yeah,
when I
like
could do it for my own car and I know I'm going to add
yeah,
$500 of value.
yeah, like just trying to use your skill set for something else. That was like the main thing. So it's just like, stop, just people just got to figure out what they want to do, man, and to try to get to the next level as far as like,
Hmm.
just the next level and not, turning down birthday parties for detailing, man. It's not, because like I was saying, it's just a tail that you never catch. Like, you on a hamster wheel. You're gonna just keep going, and then all the next ceramic color, and the next one, then the next one. Now it is a lot of successful detailers out there. Shout out to y'all, the shops. Now I think shops got a better chance than mobile detailing. Shops are gonna
Hmm.
always be great. A shop,
Hmm.
if a person can work their way up to a shop, that's awesome. But guess what? I had a shop. I had it rolling so hard in mobile. I had a shop, and it was rolling so hard in mobile detailing in my area to the point to where I walked in there one day, and it was about like I had this deal. I had a mom and pop account. Man, I had about 5 cars in there. Forgot I double booked. I had some Groupons outside. I had man, it was out. I couldn't do it no more. I had to shut the shop down, and I just had to stick to mobile because I'm in the streets. I got this shop. I'm using it for car storage and hoarding cars over there, and I ain't even doing the work. And then like, oh, why don't you go hire somebody? Man, I'm a one man. I just like it just didn't make sense.
Hmm.
You know, like I couldn't never make it make sense for me to hire someone and ride around with me. I just couldn't. I'm sorry. I mean, I know some people are good at making it. I just couldn't make it make sense for me. We just
I mean, I appreciate the honesty, and I think it's incredibly difficult for me. I always saw it as like you need to make 3 times the amount
yeah.
as to have one extra employee, right? Which
Yeah.
is very difficult, right? To make it worth
Yeah.
it,
Yeah. And
you
then they're
know?
relying on you. And what people don't want to talk about, see, this is a lot of the things we discuss on the podcast a lot. What people all you got to do is add up all the days you didn't work from rain, not because of you, because of rain, sleet, snow, any other weather conditions. And then at the end of the year, add up all the days that you didn't work. It'll come up to months. And it's all due to off of weather and stuff like that.
Mhm.
And customers. You're waiting on customers, and it's just
I think similar to my friend here, he deals with mainly like car registrations, DMV transactions, stuff like that. But it all centered around cars. And I think this dealer idea is a great option for detailers too, because you can almost, if you're tired of detailing, right,
yeah,
you can almost start the dealer thing as your side hustle,
yeah, it's just
right, and until
mhm,
it grows bigger than your
yeah,
detailing business, right, and
yeah,
then your detailing business can become your side hustle or
mhm,
whatever. I'm a huge fan and advocate of always having a side hustle. I think people are crazy to not have a side hustle. And so I see this dealer thing as a great side hustle, because especially for detailers, you're probably already into cars, right?
you are,
The
you are
stretch
in
to
your
get
car.
there.
Hmm. Yeah, you are.
The stretch to get there, because I think about it like this: if you're a detailer and then all of a sudden you want to become um, you know, a construction worker,
Hmm.
right?
Hmm.
Like
Hmm.
that, unless you have prior experience being a handyman or a construction, that gap to get there is
Yeah,
very hard, and it's completely different than detailing, right?
yeah,
So, but what I'm thinking about with this dealership thing is like it's right in line with what you're already doing,
doing. Hmm.
right? And so you probably know the make and models of the cars. Like the learning curve to get there isn't as drastic. I don't know if that's a word. Isn't
Yeah,
as far. The leap isn't as far, right?
I
As,
think it,
yeah,
it is a one thing I can admit to. It is a learning curve, because
definitely.
you one car, you can lose your whole everything. You can spend 1,500 on a car, and that car is no good. You bought a bad car, and then in that regard. But what I was gonna say on that is, um, what I noticed, like even if you do buy a bad car, it's a community that buys certain cars, like Volkswagen. It's a community that only buy Volvo. Like they're waiting on Facebook all night and day for a Volvo
Mhm.
to pop up because they're gonna get it and then send it to New Mexico. A lot of people buying these cars, they send it to
Oh.
New Mexico. So you run into a lot. You start to realize, like, oh, okay. So if the engine don't, you can list the car and be like, engine don't work. You're gonna have 1,000 people that want to come get it because they probably gonna get the car, either fix it, resell it, and or take it to the junkyard, take the cats out of it. It's people that got all types of stuff going on. Then you got the middleman flippers that don't got their dealer's license, and they're just buying floating titles.
Okay.
Stuff like that. So it's a lot of different
That's what my
levels.
brother-in-law was doing, just floating
Okay, he's
titles.
floating titles, yeah.
I didn't
Yeah.
know that was the term for that, but
Yeah, it's floating.
got it. Do you have to have special insurance for this? Like what are
You gotta have a surety bond. You gotta have a surety bond. I think the surety bond is like 25,000-30,000 surety bond. You do gotta have in certain states. To get it's a lot of, that's what I'm saying. It's a lot of different ways you can go about this. Now, how I got in the game, I came in as a wholesaler. Any of y'all right now can get y'all wholesaler's license. It's the easiest to get your wholesaler's license in your area. You can just call your local the people that deal with the cars in your area, ask them what you got to do to get your wholesaler's license. See, a lot of people don't talk about that. It's way cheaper. You don't got to have no storefront, no building. You can have your wholesaler's license out of your room, as long as you got a room in your house or something with a desk, a landline. I think they want you to have a landline phone. You just got to see what's going on in your area. Every area. But you can work out your house having your wholesaler's license. So what that'll do, guys, is allow you to go to the dealer-only auction. But you can't sell to retail, but you can sell to dealers. So I could still go to the auction and buy a car, reconditioning, and then sell it, go to a mom and pop and try to sell it to them.
See what happens? What happens if you try to sell that retail?
Yeah, you're gonna go to jail.
Okay.
You're gonna go to jail.
Got it. So this is not something you want to skirt around.
Go to jail.
Okay.
Yeah, flat out, like you're going. So see, that's what I'm saying. So, but if you run into someone like me or run into another dealer, then you can just take your I'm giving y'all real game right now, man.
This is amazing, man. This is, you don't have to do this. I appreciate it.
Real game. So if you get your wholesaler's license, all you have to do is just go to a local dealer in your area and then tell them like, hey, I got somebody that want to buy this car. They probably gonna put a little luxury tax on it. Might charge you 100, 200, but then you just retail it through them. So basically you sign the car over to them and then they sign it over to me, the buyer. So technically you sold the car to the dealership and the dealership sold the car to me.
They're legally floating the title.
Yeah.
Got it. I see.
Because a wholesaler can only sell and buy from a dealer.
So is that a good way to kind of get your feet wet, start out, get some money going?
Yes, most definitely. I wish I would have known a lot of this way years ago when I was heavy in the mobile detailing. Instead of me going to the dealer, instead of me going to the mom and dealer lots, and like you said, they want to try to keep you, do this interior for $60. They always trying to lowball you and stuff like that. When it's like, you want to know what? I'm not buying no more cars. Because one thing about detail is you make a lot of money, guys. You make a lot of money, but what y'all gotta understand is that money is hard-earned money. It's not free money. So you out there for 4 hours cleaning, because you gotta understand, you putting all this energy into the car. When them cars looking as beautiful as they can, you putting all that energy into them. But what are you getting out of it? $200? $100? That's gonna be gone. That's what I'm saying. You're only as good as your last win when it comes to detailing in general. You're only as good as your last car. Because guess what? Until you get another car, you ain't making no money. And you might not even win. That last car was a win, but this car that you about to do might be a dub.
Totally.
You might lose out on it. You might have had to go buff a black car, and now you done swirled the car. Anything can happen. I done been out there. Look, I'll tell y'all a story. I was mobile detailing. I pulled up to, I was going to this hospital. It wasn't even a hospital. It was like she had her own, it was kind of like a clinic hospital type thing. Man, I done went over there one day, like you said, searching for the money. Like, man, let me hit these streets up searching. Man, I done took myself over there, went into this lady's office, like, hey, I'm here. Popped up, didn't tell her, hey, can I detail your car real quick? Because I normally detail a car. She'll call me. She's like, yeah, but I got to go out of town. Like, I got to catch a flight. Man, I done went out there. Brand new Range Rover, just got it. She just got it. I ain't even touched this one. Brand new. Man, I'm out there. She had a penny stuck in the front glass, and it was like, them windshields on the Range Rover, they real slanted, and the penny is to where you can't get your hand in there. It was a little bitty slit. Man, I put my vacuum right there on her window, and it started sucking. Tell me why I watched that whole glass just shatter, like, right before my.
Oh no.
Yes, 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 yes. And guess what? She did not ask me to come there. She did not. Do y'all talk about those days? And it was still me, June Jones, top detailer in the city. What's going on? Stuff happened. What
Stuff
about
happens.
those days?
Oh,
You know how much that front double glass on a brand new Range Rover cost? Do anyone know how much that cost? You looking at 2,500, 3 grand, just the
oh,
front glass.
goodbye to
And
your whole month's worth of
that's what.
detailing jobs.
What? What? That's what I'm saying. So,
Ah,
we talk about ups and downs. We talking about really putting in work and sacrificing for detailing. So, who talks about that? We just talked about you going to get your little 150. You only as good as your last win. Now what?
yeah, how many
What the
$150
hell?
details?
Exactly. How many car for car? That's what I'm saying. I'm not going car for car no more. Them days is over with. Car for
Mhm.
car, driveway after driveway.
Hmm.
No, no, no. And that was, and I kept detailing and we got past that. Shout out to her, beautiful lady, her and her husband, but it's just, I'm glad I was, and to be honest, if I wasn't who I was, it probably wasn't gonna look too good for that person. But the
Mhm.
fact that I was who I was, it looked good for me. You know what I mean? But
Did you
no,
run it through insurance, or how did you end up
no,
resolving that?
no, because the insurance, I would have my deductible, I would have just had to, it wasn't even worth me
Got it.
running it through the insurance. You just have to deal with it, you
Oh,
know. And I got numerous but it happens, and
it does
people.
happen.
So when we talk about PTSD, and what I was gonna say is like so many people put in so much time in detailing. They could have been a doctor. You
Hmm.
could have been a lawyer. As long as you've been doing what you was doing and you're so dedicated, you waking up and putting the uniform on and you working 7 days a week, you skipping birthday parties, going out of town events and all this, you sacrifice. This is what I'm trying to tell y'all. Y'all sacrificing all this time and years thinking that, oh, I'm gonna detail this car, I'm gonna get better and better. It's not the fact that you might be as good as you are, but you gotta understand you're doing it for money and you're doing it thinking that you're chasing, you think you're gonna catch something, but I got to the end of the road and realized I didn't. So all of them times that I'm sacrificing parties for this money, or I'm thinking like, oh, just, it's another quick 400, it's quick 500, 600. You think, but it's just money. Money comes and go, but the time and energy that you're putting into these details and the high quality work. I'm only talking to my high quality people. If you out here doing shabby work, that's on you. That ain't got nothing to do with me. But like, you're worth more than that. You got to get to the point to where you're worth more than that. You're more than that, because all you got is some money. The trophy is that they got the car, the hard work you did. They got the trophy in their garage. You got some money that you about to go to Walmart and spend. You got
That's
to
what
stop by the store and get a drink. That's all you got out of it.
that's what I always think is so interesting. Like detailers get so excited of detailing a Ferrari, right? And
Yeah,
it's like,
like,
dude, it's not your
it's
Ferrari
not
though,
yours. It's
you
not.
know.
Yeah, it's not
And
yours.
after you do a couple of them,
Yeah,
I
they're all
did
the
a
same. They're all the
metal's
same.
metal,
Metals,
painted
metal.
metal,
What you come
right?
to realize, you
That
know.
I did I was doing a Porsche 356 dealership, and these cars were hundreds of thousands of dollars up until a couple unicorns that were worth $500,000 or $1 million, right?
Ooh,
And I
yeah,
would see these. It sounds great,
yeah,
right? I'm the detailer here.
yeah,
Like I
yeah,
get to touch these cars.
yeah,
But
yeah,
those guys were such jerks and wanted to pay so little.
yeah,
I'd walk out of there $150 or
yeah.
200
That's
bucks.
that's all they want to pay, man.
And it's like, and these I remember they would be doing like meet events or whatever. And so they'd put, the nicest cars, most expensive cars kind of on display. And they would, these people would be drooling all over these cars, and people, oh man, you're so lucky you get to work with these cars. And I'm like, lucky? This is freaking painted metal.
Yeah,
Like I've wiped this thing down 400 times. You know
yeah,
what I'm really pissed about is they don't pay me anything.
yeah. They don't want.
That's what I'm really mad about. I'd
Yeah,
really just like to get paid more,
yeah. And
you
it's like
know?
you only get off on the car. Like, what about the detailer? We only. And what about, And it's crazy because it is a double-edged sword, because like you can go do the beautiful cars and they don't want to pay, but then it's also on the mobile detailing side. I done had people pay me, $2,000 to buff your camper, and it turned out like shit.
Yep.
Or my
Yep.
language, but
Yep.
they know it, I know it, and I don't feel good. Why don't I feel good? Why I
100%.
gotta take your 15 or 2 grand or whatever, but I don't feel good?
Right.
Yeah, I got the money, but I didn't satisfy my need, that Porsche need. You see what
Yeah.
I'm saying? That feeling of
100%.
cleaning the Porsche and having a beautiful shot. I didn't get my fulfillment, but you got me out here half the day to clean your RV, and I didn't get mines off.
That's something that doesn't get talked about
That it don't.
ever,
It don't.
but
It don't.
and whether it's a camper or just like a soccer mom minivan and
Yeah, like
you can't get the mats as clean as you
yeah,
want.
you don't get to get. What about you?
You
If
feel bad too,
yeah, you
I
feel bad. Like
I
you
charge
don't.
you
It don't.
$400 or $500, it doesn't even look that good.
Yeah, and you think that making more money make you feel better. You be questioning, like, man, you don't feel good. You riding home, you don't feel good. You don't. You don't. You almost want to give it back
100%.
almost. You just be like, man, they don't even.
100%.
What about those
100%.
days? Or is all you detailers out there just ripping folks off and y'all know, you don't feel right, you know it ain't right, and you still doing it? Like, what is it?
I think there's some of that,
Some of
definitely.
that in there?
I
Some of them
definitely think there's some
tops
of
and
that.
some of them higher end? Gotta be.
Because I think it's hard to admit that like you charge someone $400 or $500 and the
It just
car it just
didn't
didn't look good,
yeah,
right?
the work and
Because to be fair to the detailer too, like I used to always tell my customers, like I can't reverse wear,
yeah.
right? So if your floor mat is worn down at the heel because you wear dress shoes every day
Yeah,
to work,
yeah.
I can't fix that. I can't
No,
add carpet fibers, right? So
no.
that carpet's not going to look good. But like to your point, I'm glad you brought it up of like, I want to feel good about the detail. I want
Dude,
to feel good about charging them and
inspired. That's where our
inspired.
inspiration come from. That's what I'm saying. Once you start losing that inspiration to do high quality work, where you just out here
Right.
sacrificing all this time and you just out here for some money. And detailing, I always used to tell people, man, detailing is too hard of a job for me to choose it. It chose me. Detailing
Yeah.
legit chose me. I didn't choose this. It chose me. I
Mhm.
started in the dealerships and it just kind of chose me. And shout out, like I said, shout out to you. I want you to know, like, you an empire, you a staple in the game, but you really transpired me, because when I came on your podcast the first time, you inspired me, because when I remember when I first ran into you, I was bench watching you. Like I remember like this, I was still in the dealerships. You inspired just your podcast, the people you had on, you inspired me to become a mobile detailer. You inspired me, to want to get out here and preach the gospel. You know what I
Mhm.
mean?
Mhm.
And I did, and you not only did I do that, but because you helped me, but which we helped a lot of people. I don't think you understand. Like Detailers United Radio, the dealership detailing podcast really, really helped a lot of people. We talk about swipes. We used to talk about paying attention to yourself. And we helped a lot of people to stay solid, to be able to continue to stay inspired, to make the money in detailing. It's hard to not be inspired. It's hard to not have the real. It's hard to not have that inspiration when you out here day in and day out, riding around with a water tank behind your head, listening to a water swish. Like, when are you gonna put on some, like, you got all these new clothes and all this, like, we work so much. It just got a lot. Just I got PTSD when it comes to detailing at this point. Like, it's a lot of little things that it just bothers me. You know what I mean? It just does, and people don't talk about it. We used to talk about a lot of it, but it's bothersome sometimes, and I just hope that all my detailers find a way to get out, before you're 60 and talking about you got to go start the rig up and it's 30 below, 32 below. Now if you ain't detailing 32 below weather, 33, the water start freezing at 32, and I'm still out there Monday through Friday, Sunday, no days off. Like, I put in the time, I put in the blood, sweat, and tears, and it's just, I got to the end. And like I said, you can keep chasing if you want to. You're never gonna catch the tail. You're never gonna catch it. I don't care how much money, because it's not there. That's what I'm saying. When I said they lied about a lot of things, and you would think that detailing has an ending point, but it never ends. It's an ongoing thing. And you searching and you detailing, thinking you're gonna catch the tail. You never gonna catch it. You're never gonna catch it. You're never gonna catch it. And I didn't did, like I said, I didn't did everything in the game as far as in my city. In my city, you know, in Tulsa, Oklahoma. Like, even, we even journeyman detail. Man, I done went over to Texas, did a whole, man, at one point I was so out here, I done did a whole tour run. I went to Texas, came all the way back around, slid through Oklahoma City, mobile detailing, guys, running ads on Facebook. It took me all over. I done been all over Oklahoma, small towns. We want to do ceramic coatings. I wasn't just sitting in my city. Like, we really transpired detailing. So when I speak detailing and mobile, we really out. We was really, still, like every blue moon I start the rig, but like I'm curving people. I'm really just trying to detail for myself. Like I said, my police accounts call, I always go for them. My doctor's call, I still, my good, my good people, my Ferrari club people, I'll go for them. My McLarens, I'll go for them. I go for my certain people that made me feel good when I was out there. We got a great relationship. I'll pull up, but I'm not detailing when you want me to. I'm detailing when I want to. That's the difference. I'm not coming when you want me to come. I'm gonna come when I want to come.
I really appreciate the kind words that you said about the show, but it really wouldn't be possible without people like you and all the other guests that have been so willing to share their story and to share the truth. And it is really inspiring. And it's really inspiring to hear your story. It was inspiring to hear your story 7 years ago, right?
Yeah.
And so I appreciate you taking the time to sit down on a random Tuesday to do this too, because you have nothing to gain from this, right? It's just sharing your experience and maybe helping someone else out that you may hear about or you may not hear about, right? So I really appreciate you saying that. I really appreciate you sharing your story, what's going on. And I think the thing that I get out of this the most is, and I'm so excited, and that's why I reached back out, because seeing and talking and catching up and talking about all these years that have kind of transpired and the lessons that you've learned. And I think you're really onto something with talking about the kind of PTSD from detailing. That's one reason on YouTube, these disaster details that get so many views and people are like, you should do it. You should do it. And I'm like, I can't, man. I have done so many of those cars that I just cannot do that. I'm burnt out on it. I'm burnt out on it.
Same with the wholesaling side. You just become burnt out on it.
You just become burnt out. Because like you said, then you deal with these people and then you're getting worn out from the people and the work. And it's just like, man, this is a nightmare. Right. And so, and I think I love talking about that because I think so many people are feeling that way, but then so many people are afraid to say they're feeling that way. Right. Because detailing is such like a passion ego play that, and you said it multiple times, you still love detailing. And I think that's what people need to realize. You could have both. You could be burnt out and still love detailing.
But I'm not gonna lie, it did take a lot of thinking and a lot of just mental game. I mean, like mental knowledge is what I'm trying to say, to really come to grips of the fact that I am June Jones in my city. Like, people love me. Like, I'm one of the top detailers in my area, and these is hands down. Anybody want to debate that, y'all know, y'all could pull up. We could do a duel, But
do a buff off.
Yeah, we could do a buff off like any day of the week. They know now. That's what I'm saying. Don't get it twisted. I know I'm chilling and we chilling. Don't get it too twisted. But yeah, man.
What would you say? Like, so as we kind of wrap this up, I'm just so appreciative of everything that we've talked about in your time. If there was I think you've already even covered this, but like, what would you say to the person that's listening to this that is kind of everything is resonating with them? They're feeling burnout, regardless of how long they've been in detailing, what area of detailing they're in. What would be, if you go back to June Jones, who was feeling burnout, tired of it, looking for a change, that the same June Jones that eventually found the dealership stuff, if you could go back to that June Jones before you found the dealership stuff, what would you say to that person? And we'll kind of wrap on that.
Well, what I was gonna say is, it took a lot of mental space for me to be June Jones and come to realize, like, okay, I am feeling the way that I'm feeling. And I think a lot of detailers need to sit back and ask themselves, have you beat the game of detailing? If you still got some rocks that you still need to get off, or whatever you got going on, or some type of, dream and detailing, go ahead and conquer that. But, have you beat the game of detailing? And I kept, I done did everything through my city, and I had to kind of realize, like, oh, okay, I pretty much beat the game of detailing. I done did everything. There's really nothing else in this game that I inspired to do. So that's what kind of, but I had the same time come to grips with like, okay, I know because it is kind of like that thing, like, okay, when you leave, will they still love you? That is a feeling. Like you can have
Definitely.
those type of feelings, like, will they still love you? You know what I mean? If you leave, will your city still love you? Will you still be that guy? And you will. Like I said, your phone will never stop ringing. People will always. One thing we used to always talk about on the podcast. You could leave up or you could leave down. Which one you gonna leave in? Is you gonna transition while you're doing high quality work, while you still inspired, or is you gonna leave when you're down, depressed, your wife done left you because you that's what I'm saying. This gets
That
deep.
happens a lot too.
A lot in detailing.
I've
All
seen
you
it a
want to do is
lot.
I didn't seen it a lot too. All you want to do is detailing. Now your whole family gone. See, that's what I'm saying. What
It's
about family
crazy.
days? It's crazy.
It's so I've seen that so many times, and it
Yes,
never. This is why I'm so glad you brought that up. Like
like
it
whole family gone.
whole family gone,
Gone.
lost everything
Everything for
for
detailing.
detailing.
To ride around and hear water behind your head. It's crazy. It's nuts.
As long as they're listening to the auto detailing podcast or the dealership detailing podcast, though, maybe that'll drown out the water.
I know that's real. I know that's what I'm saying. We touched them areas, that people
Yeah.
don't want to talk about. You got to look yourself in the mirror and be like, okay, is this it for me? It ain't gotta be it. Find a different way to utilize your skills in something else. It's
Yep.
all you got to do. If getting your dealer's license is one of them, that's one. But it's a lot of other things that you can do with detailing. You just got to find your way. But I do think that coming for us, a lot of detailers, I think a dealer's license might be, it's a learning curve or whatever. Just start with the wholesaling.
Yeah.
Anybody can get their wholesaler's license cheap, cheap, real
Yeah.
cheap. You can get in and you can have your license. But before we get out of here, I do want to,
Yep.
because we did mention the 722 mix, and it wouldn't be right if I didn't put some context to that. So when you're dealing with the 722 mix, do not use it you could use it in heat, but do not use it on new cars. Only use it on the cars that need it, that's super filthy. You can use it on a new car, but just be mindful. This is degreaser straight, you know what I mean? And it does clean like none other. And it protects the leather, it protects the dash. You can use it on dash and everything, but I just want to put that out there. Do not, if it's crazy blasting, if you're gonna spray, make sure you're wiping and you're not splashing it everywhere. Just be mindful as an auto detailer, because I know y'all know how. Just be mindful. It's a very powerful, because you spray it, you're gonna see it just start
It literally starts melting the dirt
melting.
away.
Anything, cup holders. I mean, the car's gonna look beautiful. You could clean the whole interior less than like fast, like
Super
30 minutes
fast.
to an hour, man, like real fast. So I just wanted to put that out there to put a little context. Like we said, that is 7 ounces of degreaser and 22 ounces of milk, and make sure you're using a good quality milk. I love mock. I love mock product. You like mock products?
I don't think I've ever tried them.
Man, beautiful milk. Oh my gosh, like
Okay.
beautiful. It's called mock.
Mock. MOCK, or do
Yeah,
they do it?
MOC.
Okay. MOC. Got it.
Yeah.
I'm gonna write it down and look at it.
Yeah, they got some good products. Just make sure y'all using a good, thick, healthy dressing. Not none of that, not too cheap. You want a good dressing and good degreaser, good strong degreaser. Like I like that cinnamon. I like that cinnamon stuff with I can't even think of the brand. Hot. It's called Hot Stuff with I can't even it's everybody got that brand. I can't even think. If just type in Hot Stuff cinnamon degreaser, you'll find it. It'll pop up. I can't jog the name of the company right now, but they got everything.
How can people find you or follow you or reach out to you and say, "Hey, June, you changed my life."
Yeah, man.
Maybe they listen to this in a year or two and say, "Hey, man, I listened to your podcast with Jimbo. I got my dealer license and now I'm killing it." How can
Yeah.
they find you?
Well, I'm on I'm on YouTube, June Jones the Detailer, and then I'm on Facebook under June Jones, and then you can go to Instagram, Dealership Detailing Podcast on Instagram is still active and live, and you go to the Dealership Detailing Podcast on Apple Podcasts and go check out all years, 7 years worth of podcasting from the very beginning. And a lot of this kind of talk that y'all hear me talking, it's all in that podcast. Just go listen. It's all in there. You'll be very inspired to want to, you know, either switch it up or just be inspired. Even if you inspired enough to let somebody else detail for you. Like, you know, that's always a, you know, you step out and you let somebody, you know, I know everybody's in different parts of their life or whatever, but most definitely you'll be inspired.